Jai Gurudev, and welcome to another week summary of Yoga Vasistha. In this week, we are going to see how Yoga Vasistha has instructed Brahma in the discourse that has been happening about the prana, how the prana is associated with the mind and how the mind works, and how there are two aspects he has explained. One is the direct knowledge, and the another one is the practice of the yoga and the breath and meditation work. So everything in this week's summary. So let's go into that. So 24th of July, which is page number 206, the Vasistha continues as as you know, the way you moves the fire brand in round and round, it creates the illusionary circle. The same way, because of the vibrations happening in this consciousness has it appears that it has created the world. Now understand this, what exactly is he's trying to say here. When you move the fire band in a very particular speed, it gives you the illusion that all the dots are connected and it's a circle. It's going in a circle, though it's a different dots. If you think about the film also that we see, it is actually the pictures which are stored in a fast way, so that when they run fast, thousands and thousands of pictures run fast in minute or a few minutes, then it gives a illusion to us that it is moving, right? The same way he is establishing this particular knowledge here, that in this consciousness all the vibrations are happening, and because of the vibrations we appears to be happening this world, this reality of the world has come into the existence. Again, it is not like that this whatever you see is not there. It is there very much, but it is actually the reflection of the consciousness. What you see as a moonlight is not a moonlight. There is a light of the sun which is there, as a moon is an object, and the light is on the moon, and that's why it is reflecting from the moon. That's why we call it as a moonlight. When that light is going straight into the space, any light, whether it is sun's light or any light, it doesn't have any color, it doesn't have any of its own existence. When the objects comes in between, it starts reflecting. The same way, this consciousness, when it's projecting, the five senses, space is the subtlest sense, but the five elements, space is the subtlest element, but the four elements, earth, water, fire, air, when they come in contact with this consciousness, and when the subtler body of the subtler characteristics of the consciousness, which is the mind, is also formed with the subtle elements present in the elements which are presented in a subtler form, then the objectification happens. So the elements which we see, I will repeat it again, the elements which we see are actually the solid elements. We can feel the air, we can see the fire, we can see the earth, but there is the subtlety of those elements also which is present, which is affecting the mind, and the mind is made up of those subtle elements. Now the gross body is made up of the gross elements. Okay, so when this consciousness is flowing, when it comes with the contact with the subtle or the gross, any of those elements, then it starts reflecting itself through it. Senses are the best examples. The eyes see, but eyes do the function of seeing. There is something else inside which is seeing through the eyes, and that something is not there, that something is not present in that particular moment, is got caught up into the thoughts and thinking about something. Then the things are in front of you, but you cannot see that. Somebody is talking to you, but if your mind is engaged, the consciousness is engaged with the activities of the mind about thinking something, judging something, analyzing something, you don't hear the things. The same way, so that is how the whole illusion has created. The consciousness is there, and it is just been reflecting into one aspect in coordination with the five elements, and the three gunas as well are there, sattva, rajas, tamas, because all this combination makes a personality, gives an imaginary personality which we consider ourselves to be. That is what we discussed initially, the individual consciousness. It is the same consciousness, but it is just condensed at one particular place because it is attached to that particular solidification of the elements and along with the gunas, three gunas, sattva, rajas, tamas. And then that's why it is so much attached with that. It has presumed, it has imagined that it is this form and it is individual, separate from the other forms. Like the air in this room is the same air as the outside, but because air in this room is trapped into this room, it is thinking it is different than the outside room and it has got its own existence. The space in this room is different than the space outside because it is considering it has got its own existence. However, it is just captured in this particular environment from the four sides and top and the bottom. The same way the consciousness is captured and is going around and is working through this particular environment, which is called as the body and mind. It is not only just body. Body is a physical aspect. The mind is a very important aspect. So that's why it is giving that illusion that yes, it is different. The whole world appearance is looking like that. Vibration and consciousness are inseparable, and one is like the whiteness of the snow and the oil in the sesame seed, the fragrance of the flower. Like the fragrance of the flower, the oil in the sesame seed, the whiteness of the snow. Everything is like the characteristics of that particular thing. You cannot separate it. The same way he is saying vibration and consciousness are same. There are two ways that the cessation, and two ways in which the cessation of the movement of the mind can be achieved. Now the mind and the movement is also not separate. The existence of the mind is there because of the consciousness. When the prana inside us, the energy inside us is moving in a particular way, then that is creating those vibrations which can be felt strongly inside you. And because we know how to attach the words to that, when those vibrations are vibrating, the energy is vibrating in that words form, in that sound form, the different thoughts come in our head, different voices come in our head. In my head, suppose right now I am getting a voice, what a beautiful day it is. So it is just like that feeling is arising that yes, I am feeling pleasant after experiencing the atmosphere around you, and that energy form, I'm utilizing it by the sound. What a beautiful day it is. It is a very it happens in such a subtle and fast way that it is very difficult to fathom that and get hold of that. It is very difficult to get hold of that, to understand that, to go to the root cause of that. However, it is possible if you just relax, if you just go deep into your natural state of consciousness, retrieving yourself from the actions of the body and mind and observing the actions of the mind happening, actions of the body happening. Then you start understanding how the thoughts are arising, how the thoughts are connected with the vibrations connected with the feelings connected with the sensations, and how it is reflecting on the level of the body. You can do that experiment by sitting quietly with yourself and first calming the mind, calming the body, making the body still, making the mind still, and then create a thought which is disturbing to you. Purposefully think about something which is disturbing to you. You are angry about, you are jealous about. Observe that thought arising, observe that feeling arising, that sensation arising, that vibrations arising, and how it is reflecting on your body. You should be able to control that, otherwise you will get carried out in that and you will feel very heat and hotness in your body, and the restlessness in your mind and restlessness in your body as well. So the moment you understand, oh, this is what is happening, drop it and let go of that thought and again pull yourself back. The same way your desires, the pleasurable experiences in your life, whatever your dreams that are going to make you give the pleasure, think about that and feel how the thought is arising, feelings is arising, vibrations arising, sensations arising. You are feeling, you are experiencing it on the level of the mind, you are experiencing on the level of the body, and how that is creating this whole world and universe. So mind and movement, it is also not separate, like the vibration and consciousness, which is not separate. So he said there are two ways. One is the way of yoga that involves restraining of the movement of the thought, and the other one is the knowledge that involves the right knowledge of the truth. And then he has given the different channel of the motion, different nadis that he has given a little bit understanding about that, not an in-depth understanding, but there are energy channels. Now, everything is made up of consciousness, is energy. Your body is the gross projection of that energy. In between that gross projection and the subtlest projection, which is consciousness, it is the movement of the energy which is happening, correct? In that moment, the energy is flowing through the different channels around and in and around this body. Now it is considered, again it is a debatable topic. Some say 72,000, some say 120,000 energy channels which are there. Now out of that, there are 100 which are 108 or 112 which are very important. Out of that, 12 are very important. Out of that, 7 are very important, and that is called as the 7 chakras. Where the energy meets each other, and that chakras are formed. So when you start having a say over this energy, when you can restrain the movement of the energy, you are restraining the thoughts arising in your mind. And then if the thoughts are not arising, if the energy is not flowing, then basically you are going deep into your subtlest level of existence, which is your consciousness. So the movement of thought in the mind arises from the movement of prana. Prana means energy, and the movement of prana arises because of the movement of the thought in the consciousness. Then they thus form a cycle of mutual independence, and like waves and the movement of the current in the water. When the mind abandons the movement of thought, the appearance of the world illusion ceases. The moment you start experiencing your existence beyond this mind and retrieve yourself into that subtler state, which is your pure I am state, or pure being state, or pure the way you are, that I am. Don't go into I'm sitting, I'm listening, I'm reading, I'm understanding. Just that I am. It is the subtler thing which is there, and you will just get it if you just keep little bit more attention or awareness that I am. And then immediately the thought comes, I'm driving, I'm a male, I'm a female, I'm so and so years old, I got a pain, I got a pleasure, I'm doing this, I'm not doing this. But before that, there is something I am. It is a real existence of your beingness, which is always there in you, that I am, and that state is that where you reach to the level of the individual consciousness. When you drop that I also, and you just be into that amness or beingness, then you go into the infinite consciousness. And it's a very amazing thing, it's so scientific actually. The spirituality and science is considered as opposite to each other. However, the real spiritual person is a scientist, and the real scientist is a spiritual, because it's just connected the matter and energy, how they are making this world come into existence. It's a wonderful game and play. The movement of prana is also arrested by the effortless practice of the breathing without strain. So now he has given different practices of the breathing and meditation. Repetition of the sacred Om with the experience of its meaning, then in that takes you into the deep sleep state. Then the practice of exhalation, inhalation, retention, and then arrest the prana movements. And then when you become aware, or keep your attention on the tip of your tongue, crown of your head, when you experience the consciousness is suddenly moving 12 inches outside your body. So that is like the energy flow that is happening around you, in and around you. When you are becoming aware of that awareness, that aura, what we call it as that experience of your flow of energy around you, and then heart center, eyebrows, all these are the places they are given where you hold attention, awareness for a certain amount of time and let go. Then it is helpful for you to restrain the flow of energy, and that actually stops the movement of prana, which results into the thoughts movement in the mind. So are you getting? All these meditations we do, chakra meditation or Sudarshan Chakra Kriya or whatever it is, all the different things, focusing on this and that. In silence program also we do lots of deep meditations, observing all these body parts. That actually helps us to get on the other side of the mind. That's why you feel calm, relaxed, peaceful, because it is your natural state. And the characteristics of all this natural state is compassion, love, peace, calmness, serenity, being in the present moment, letting go, feeling belongingness, feeling oneness. All these are nothing but the results of that state. Two aspects of the heart are spoken here. One aspect of the heart is a physical heart, and the another aspect of the heart is a consciousness itself. The consciousness is called heart. If you happen to read or listen to the talks of Ramana Maharshi, which was one of the sage who lived on this planet as well, he has given the reference of Hridayam, which means heart, in most of his books and talks. And that Hridayam means this Hridayam, the consciousness, not the physical heart. Consciousness alone is the heart of all beings, and not the piece of the flesh. The yoga methods bring out the desired results if they are practiced without the violence or force. Now he's talking about the yoga methods, but initially he talked about the meditation and prana and focusing on that, And then what does that do? The practice will simultaneously grow the dispassion, and when your mental conditioning comes under perfect restraint, then the fixation of the restraint of the movement of prana. Means the same thing what we discussed just now. It just stops the movement of the prana. Now, enormous vision leads to rebirth, and right vision ends rebirth. Again, what is birth and not birth? When you got focus there on the subtlest part of your existence, that consciousness, and when you surpass the individual consciousness is nothing but that particular consciousness which is attached to this body. When you let go of this body, let go of this mind, relax into the natural state of your I amness, and in that also you, after relaxing for certain amount of time, that hold also start loosening its grip on you, and you start dissolving into the beingness or amness. Then you start understanding that it is just the consciousness, and when it's coming as a wave and holding on to the object called body and mind, we call it as a birth, and we live into this particular time frame, because the time starts after that. Before that there is no physical time, it is just existing there. But then we call it as so and so is been conceived, so and so is 3 months pregnant, 10 months 5 months pregnant, 8 months pregnant, 9 months pregnant, the baby is born, this is the boy or a girl, then they are leaving 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, 20 year, 30 year, 50 year, 60 year, 100 year, and then they left the body, the prana is gone. All those things that we are following is nothing but the movement of the consciousness from not being aware to becoming aware, to getting attached to the body, to leaving it as a body, to experiencing it and getting involved into that illusion of itself calling as a body, then getting rid of the body, because that body is of no use for fulfilling the desires and understanding itself or the world around it. Correct. During this whole process, every day in 24 hours, for some time, this consciousness has to let go of that imagination and completely dissolve into the absolute, into the infinite consciousness, into its natural nature, and in deep sleep. If it will not do that, it will not function. It will be difficult for it to function. So the whole thing is coming to the creation, it's moving into that birth and death we call, and every day it has to go back to its natural source. Every day. So erroneous vision leads to rebirth, and the right vision ends rebirth. It is there. In it, there is no subject object. Of course, into that consciousness, into that beingness, there is no subject and object. There is nothing there that wants to know something. It is all happening after that. Individuality of the consciousness when it comes. knowledge and the knowable, the division of ignorance, nothing is there. When this is direct seen, there is neither bondage nor liberation. When the sage rests in his own self, with his intelligence firmly established in the inner self, what pleasure can bind him in this world? Now you just imagine yourself that right now you are into that deep sleep state. It will become very difficult for you to take your attention back. However, consciousness means attention. When that absolute wants its attention to go outward, the consciousness comes, the mind comes, the intellect comes, the body comes, the senses comes, and the objects of the senses comes. Bang! It just attention going outward. The moment you will start projecting this attention going outward and you will relax, automatically everything will collapse. I don't want to know anything. I don't want to see anything. I don't want to get involved into my thoughts. I don't want to get involved into my senses and its objects. I just want to be here. I'm just turning that attention back onto myself, becoming one with myself and letting go of that attention. That's it. You are dissolving into the consciousness. So that's very powerful sentence it is. 26th of July, 208 page. If egoistic thought is linked with these sense functions, there arises a mental agitation. So I just told you, all those things gone. I want to know this, I want to see this, I want to have this. Then you are using your mind, your senses and the sense object to get that particular experience. Your mind is agitating and you are getting involved into the doership and to understanding the world. Then he talks about all those things. Then he said, mind is dead and all the worries and anxieties are dead. And demon knows that ego sense is dead too. All this has been brought about through the mantra of inquiry. I am free and happy. And the moment you go back into that natural state of yourself and start observing everything is happening with you, everything is going because of that attention of that consciousness outward, everything is getting quickly projected and coming. The moment you understand that, after that you start feeling free from all those things and be happy on its own. I am the eternal self that is omnipresent and subtle. I have reached to the state of reality. And whatever is or whatever is not, the mind and the inner reality are all the one infinite consciousness. Let the mind continue to be or let it die. I remained in a conditioned state as long as I am foolishly engaged in this inquiry. Now that through this inquiry I have reached to the conditioned being who is the inquirer. So who wants to know? Who is the knower inside us? Who is the inquirer inside us? Who is the listener inside us? Who is the watcher inside us? Who is the seeker inside us? If you just keep questioning these questions again and again and again and again, and when you start understanding that contemplation, that if whatever is being seen, experienced and observed is not me, because whatever is there outside me can be only seen, observed and experienced. Whatever is me, it is becoming one with me. Once you become one, then only understand the self, because it's called self. It is your entity. When you call my ego, then it is your ego. You are different, your ego is different. My intellect is different, I am different. My body, I am different, my body is different. When there is my, until unless you reach to that particular level, when there is no my remains, it just become one with everything. You just become, and it's a wonderful state, and you have experienced that every now and then. You always experience before you fall into the deep sleep, and after you wake up from the deep sleep for the fraction of the second, while going and coming out. So definitely it is always been experienced, only we are not aware of it because we don't pay our attention to understand the true nature of ourselves, because since childhood we have been told that you are this and you are that, and we are assuming that as a reality. The above line of inquiries adopted by the sage Samvarta, and then there is a sage Vitahavya who has been sitting and meditating and contemplating about the senses and the mind. Very good explanation. Now, how fickle is the mind, he thinks, the sage. Even if it is Even if it is introverted, it does not remain steady but gets agitated the moment like the surface of the ocean. That's the sentence that you should be thinking about when you sit for meditation. Why you get so much of thoughts? Because it is a natural tendency of the mind to get involved into the moment and have the thoughts. So that's why, having been nourished by the senses, and the mind grasps the very objects that it has given up, and like the demented person, it runs after the very thing from which it has been restrained. You drop something, you pick up something, the mind plays all these games. I want to let go of this, I don't want to get into this desire, and you get caught up into desire. Oh my goodness, I want to get rid of this habit. You get into the habit. All this is a play of the mind. You leave it, you grab it, you leave it, you grab it. I shall now consider the character of five senses through excuse me, character of five senses through which the mind thus gets distracted. And then he talks about the senses. Oh senses, has time not yet arrived that you all to attain the self knowledge? Do you not remember the sorrow that was followed your pursuit of pleasure? Then give up the excitement. Oh senses, you are false. Oh senses, that I am intelligent, for you are not. All these notions, I am alive, I am intelligence, are all false. There is nothing but the consciousness. Oh wicked mind, what and when are you? If everything is consciousness, then the movement happening in the consciousness is not a part of that consciousness. Like the waves happening on the surface of the ocean, the movement is happening on the level of the consciousness, and we are considering it as a mind, and we are getting stuck with that mind. Oh mind, in truth you are neither the doer of anything nor the experience. You are inert, and your intelligence is derived from some other source who is giving energy to mind to function, who is giving energy to intelligence to shine, who is giving memory the power to hold on to some of its experiences in the form. It is all the consciousness which is beyond all this. How the pleasures are related to you. If you realize I am but the pure consciousness, then you are indeed the self. Then how does sorrow arise in you? And when you are unlimited, and how the sorrow can arise in you when you are unlimited and unconditional consciousness? The 28th of July, page number 210, he continues saying about the mind and senses. O mind, I shall gently bring home to you the truth that you are indeed neither the doer nor the experiencer. You are inert. What is done with the intelligence or the energy of another is considered to be done by the latter. The sickle harvest of the energy of the farmer, and hence the farmer is said to be harvester. So it's just similarly through the sword the cuts in the man is so he's given some examples. It is how the farmer is considered as one who has done all those things, but it all is just happening there. You hurt someone with the sword. It is not you who is hurting, it is the sword is cutting, but it's considered that you are hurting them. So means you're just given the experience, like how everything is happening, but how the mind takes the credit, how the intelligence take the intelligence amongst us take the credit, how the body takes the credit and thinks it's a doer, but it is been done by someone else. The sword cuts someone, however the person behind the sword is responsible for the sword to function for cutting. The harvest are grown into the farm, and it's just happening on its own consider, but the farmer is the one behind who is working and making the harvest grow. So like that he has given the examples, like what appears to be there is something else behind it which is working and making that happen. Oh fool, when you are the truth, when in truth you are the infinite consciousness, then why do you grieve? Oh mind, you are neither doer nor the experiences. You have always been used as a channel of instructions by the wise men for communication. So when you understand the truth, don't get too much agitated. You just use your mind and its characteristics and its functions for communicating and understanding the world and interacting with the world. If you know something that you believe is the true experience and the authentic experience, and if you want to tell the world, then you should just use your mind and body to tell that experience to the world. You should not make a big hoo-ha about that, because what the truth is always was there and will be there, and it is there right now. It is just like you have realized because you have put your self effort to go beyond the level of the body and mind. And that is what has been happening. What are these books of Yoga Vasistha and Ashtavakra Gita and all the scriptures? The sages, they realized the truth, and after that they started using their body and mind to tell the truth to the other people, to get engaged with the other people, with telling them the truth. You have relationship to the self except the fragrance of the except as the fragrance to the flower. Relationship exists only between two independent beings of the similar nature when they strive to become one. You, O mind, are ever agitated, and self is ever at peace. There is thus no relationship between the two. O senses, I feel that you have all been dispelled by the light of my admonitions, for you are born in the darkness of the ignorance. It's just talking about all the senses and all that. Lots of different examples are given. So it's amazing to read and understand. The mental distraction and distress cease just as the ocean becomes calm when the mind ceases to agitate. Your existence as identical with the self and not different from it is conducive of happiness. Oh mind. So means if you think you are separate from the self, then you will be conducive of happiness. Sorry, the other way. Your existence is as identical as and not different from it. Means if you think yourself, you are just the projection of the self and you are just the part of the self, then you will feel happy. Oh mind, hence be firmly rooted into the realization of your non-existence. You are not there, only one thing is there. The mind is not there, only one thing is there, that is the consciousness. Mind is like mind is borrowing the energy from the consciousness for its functioning. So without consciousness, it is not having its independent existence. It is not the entity that can exist on its own if the consciousness is not there. That is why in dead person, the body is not functioning, the mind is not functioning, because the reality, the truth and the energy and underlining in the living person, which is a consciousness, is not there. It is gone. Oh mind, you are awakened by many means now that you have lost the false characteristics of the mind. You exist as a supreme being and infinite consciousness. Now he's saying, now once you lost your identity, then you exist as a supreme being and as an infinite consciousness. Oh good mind, this inquiry has arisen in you. This is surely for the attainment of the bliss. There is indeed no mind. O mind, the self alone exists. It alone is, and there is not else. I am that self, hence there is not other than me in the universe. I am infinite consciousness, whose kinetic state alone appears as the universe. The infinite consciousness, when it's in the kinetic state, which is in the movement state, motion state, it appears as the universe. And now when you are withdrawing yourself and going back slowly, now all this dialogue he's saying, oh mind, oh senses, oh mind, oh senses, oh mind, you are this, oh my, oh senses, you are this. When you are reading this, actually just question yourself, who is that who is saying all these things? Then that will start taking you to the source. First you observe, clearly observe your mind and your senses functioning, and then that entity which is observing will have the ability, power and right and authority to say, oh mind, why are you doing that? And then if you focus on that who is making this comment, making this statement, then it will start taking you back to the source. And once you become one with it, that is what you are becoming with that I amness. The 30th July and 212 page, we first discussed that we will read up to 30th July, but I'm going to consider the 31st of July also today. So 2 more pages. After this inquiry, the sage, Vitahavya, he went into the samadhi and he stayed there for quite some time. And liberated sages, for the liberated sages, this world exists in all its purity, peace and perfection as the Brahman infinite. How can there be a bondage of liberation to them? And then of course, once you realize the truth and once you function in this world as a part of this world, then also you don't get attached to all those things, because it is just the function of the mind and the body. Rama asked again question, if the creation of the sage was the fictitious and imaginary, how were the embodied being in it conscious and sentient? If the creation of Vitahavya was fictitious, O Rama, Vasistha is answering, so it is this, so is this, that and this are both the pure infinite consciousness, their appearances being the results of the delusion of the mind. So yeah, if you are considering Rama, that the sage, in the sage story, how can it's possible that all the people, because you realize the truth and after that he lived into that, then how come the people were conscious, how the things were conscious and all that? Then he's saying, if that is not the truth, then this is also not the truth, and if that was there, then this is also there, because right now also the sage is not there, but what truth is there. Right now Vasistha is not there, Rama is not there, sage is not there, but truth is there, that there is something underline all this whole creation which is making this creation sustain and work through that. So that's what he's saying. If today you say this is not true, then that time also it was not true, and today you will say yes, I can see this projection happening, then that time also it was happening. So then he again asked, how can he got his body back? Because in the above paragraph he said he meditated for hundreds of years and then he again got his body back and came into this. So Vasistha is explaining, the sage realized that he was into the infinite state, and he knew that the mind called Vitahavya was but the trick of the infinite consciousness. So like you imagine you are space, and in that space you know that there exists one particular room on this earth, and that you call it as your home. And then if in the infinite consciousness, if you want to put your attention on that particular house, it is possible. It is possible for you to become aware of that particular house, where it is, what it is, how much big it is, how much small it is. The same way he has experienced, he has given, he thought of seeing the body of Vitahavya in his own consciousness. He saw all the other embodiment that he had. Some of them had come to end and the others are still functioning. And then he saw his body known as Vitahavya and sunk like a worm in the mud, and then he got into that thing, the energy got back into the body and the body started functioning. Seeing it thus, he reflected, surely this body's mind is devoid of the life force and is therefore unable to function. I shall now enter into the solar orbit with the help of the solar power known as Pingala. Now there are three nadis, Ida, Pingala and Sushishma. Pingala is considered as a sun nadi, Ida is considered as a moon nadi, and Sushishma is considered as a center nadi. So with the help of the Ida and Pingala, the moon and the sun, the cold and the warm, the body is functioning, the body is living. And then that's why he got used to that. Means in infinite consciousness, all this knowledge was already there. So he became aware of this knowledge and he used that knowledge and he made it body alive. It got its body alive and started functioning in this body. In the evening, the sage once again entered into the forest, and then which he was familiar, and practiced intense meditation. He thought, I have already realized. Any further inquiry concerning about this is contradictory. I don't want to do any more inquiry. I remain as if I am in sleep, and I am established into the consciousness with total equanimity. Thus resolved, he meditated for 6 days, and then which passed like a moment, and then he lived as a liberated sage for a long time. He was free from exaltation and sorrow, and at times he would address his mind, "Oh mind, look how blissful you are. Now this that your balanced state, remain in that state for some time." Then he said, "Oh senses, the self does not belong to you, nor you belong to the self. May you all perish. Your cravings have ceased." Then he said, "Oh senses, you are different from the self. The doer of actions is different from all this." Means what is whose error and how does it arise? And then this is all the error he is saying. This is all the mistake that has been happened. But then whose error is that, and how it is arrived? Error remains error. Knowledge becomes clear knowledge. When the truth is known, when you realize the truth, then whatever is remains whatever is. You don't get rid of your body or mind. You don't get rid of the functioning the way body is functioning and the way mind is functioning. You don't get rid of the characteristics of the body and mind. All you realize is you actually understand the conditioning that has been happening to the body and mind, and you uncondition the body and the mind. So it just works with its characteristics and which is naturalness on its own. So the thoughts will still keep coming. The body will still get hungry. The body will still get dirty. The body will keep seeing and perceiving the whole world. The body will still keep digesting the food. It will get tired. It will work. It will sleep. All those things will keep happening. Nothing is going to change because this is a natural thing. And the real is real and the unreal is unreal. What has been destroyed is destroyed, and what remains is remains. So the conditioning and the imagination that has been happened, that I am something different and I am not the consciousness and I am living as an individual, that conditioning is gone. That individuality is gone. So that is the whole main purpose of the liberation, enlightenment, or getting the self-knowledge. Thus reflecting and establishing in this knowledge, the sage lived in the world for a very long time. His heart was free from attraction and aversion, ever when all manner of experiences came to him unsought. Page number 213 we finished, 31st of July. So understand, this sage who was contemplating on himself, on his knowledge and on his understanding, he understands how the senses are functioning, how the senses do not have their individual existence, but they are the individual existence, and they are the one who is been creating the world around us. When you caught up into the senses, then you realize that they are giving you pleasurable experiences and unpleasurable experiences. One step beyond, then you start thinking, you see the mind is also functioning. Oh my goodness, there is so many things happening in the mind. The mind is also responsible for the senses to create the pleasurable or to create the unpleasurable experiences. When you start understanding that neti, not this, and you start going back to the source, then the understanding about the true nature of myself is only called self-knowledge. It is a very natural state. It is a very easy state. I can't tell you. It's very difficult to explain to someone, but it is just there. It is just there. You have to just do a little bit of self-effort to just get rid of what you are not, and whatever is there will remain the truth, like is said in the last paragraph. Whatever is there will remain there. Knowledge is knowledge. It will stay there. Real is real. It will stay there. Unreal is unreal. It will go away. The same way. So keep contemplating and keep thinking. Recognition that understanding is important, and for that, challenging our beliefs, challenging our concept is necessary. For that, taking some time out of our daily routine and sitting with yourself and going through this contemplation is very important. Of course, you will be doing some practices and you will be engage your mind into the breathing, into the meditation, into the chanting and all that. But when that object is gone and when you relax, that time this contemplation starts. Till the time you are giving the different objects to the mind, it is actually not been resting. Chanting the mantra, doing the religious activities, basically we are just engaging ourselves into the different experiences and different objects, so that will give some benefit for some time, but that will not give you the understanding about who you are. That is where the books like Yoga Vasistha and the knowledge like Ashtavakra Gita is more powerful, because it actually takes you beyond all these rituals, beyond all the traditionals, beyond all these concepts, and gives you the understanding and pathway to reach to the purest state of our own being. So anyway, on that note, we will end here. Jai Gurudev. Take care. Bye bye.